This is the Shadow Realm Network, and in this video, I'll be breaking down Fire King's past, present, and possible future, highlighting important cards from the archetype in each format, and few archetypes embody destruction quite like Fire King's, with their unique ability to benefit from destruction. Fire King has burned through competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout the years, leaving their mark on two different formats. But the question is, how good was it actually? The Fire King archetype debuted in 2013 with the release of their own structure deck centered around destruction and recursion. Just in case the Phoenix motif wasn't obvious enough for you, Fire Kings thrived on being destroyed and sent to the graveyard, especially Fire King High Avatar Garunix. This card reads once per turn during the next standby phase. After this card was destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon this card from the graveyard. If you do, destroy all other monsters on the field. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Fire King monster from your deck except Fire King High Avatar Garunix. Garunix was the deck's boss monster, creating devastating field wipes and generating value with every cycle of destruction. Supporting cards like Fire King Avatar Barong, adding search power to the deck, while Fire King Island provided an easy way to destroy your own cards, which, as we know with Fire Kings, is actually a good thing. This unique strategy made Fire King's immediate fan favorite, offering board control and powerful recovery. Unfortunately, this first wave of support wasn't enough to bring it out of Rogue. But this didn't last long. Fire Kings reached their first competitive peak by pairing themselves with the Zing archetype, which also benefited from destruction effects. This synergy allowed for consistent, powerful synchro plays and creative plays that kept the opponent guessing. While not meta-defining yet, the hybrid deck was capable of Rogue-level success, surprising opponents with its versatility and ability to out-resource other strategies. For most archetypes, that would be it. That would be all she wrote, a wave of support, a strategy that synergizes with it, and that would have been it. But not for Fire Kings. Fire Kings was able to adapt again, becoming another hybrid deck and becoming a key part of the famous Fire-Water format. But before we go over how Fire Kings became an important part of the Fire-Water format, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and it really helps me continue making videos. But enough of that self-promotion BS, on with the video. The true competitive capabilities of Fire Kings came out when they were paired up with Fire Fist monsters, which provided consistent search and various abilities that Fire Kings truly did lack. Destruction in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really good, but it can't be your only trick. And that's the one problem with Fire Kings, is that they only do destruction and they don't do much else. That's why they work best paired up with another archetype. The Fire Fist version of this deck allowed it to play cards like Coach Soldier Wolfpack and Circle of the Fire Kings, allowing it to have fast recovery and big pushes. Circle of the Fire King reads, target one fire monster you control and one fire monster in your graveyard, destroy that monster you control, and if you do, special summon that other monster from your graveyard. You can only activate this effect once per turn. So basically a chicken nugget launcher. These hybrid builds performed well at tournaments, offering aggressive options alongside the field wipe power of Garunix, and was highly capable of topping regionals and even YCS events. But unfortunately for Fire Kings, all good things must come to an end at some point. As new archetypes like Shadal's and Burning Abyss entered the meta, Fire King started to fall behind. The biggest issue? The archetype lacked speed and disruption, which became critical in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I say modern, but that was like 7 to 10 years ago, like 2015 to 2018. And like, it's 2025 now. And now I'm feeling like actually old saying this out loud. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 2020 to 2025, and maybe not even that. Saying 2015 to 2018 is modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just insane. Oh man, I'm getting old. The simple fact is, Fire Kings, for the most part, is only as good as the archetype you pair it with. And unfortunately for Fire Kings, there was no new archetype to replace Fire Fist. Without access to consistent negates or reliable ways to counter faster strategies, Fire Kings was pushed into rogue territory. Players experimented with tech options and hybrid decks, but at the end of the day, it really did not look good for Fire Kings. Let's just say at this point, you're better off spending your money on KFC than actual Fire Kings. In 2016, Fire Kings received a small glimmer of hope with the release of Fire King's Avatar Arvada, which introduced a much needed negate to the archetype. This card reads, when a monster effect is activated while this monster is on the field, quick effect, you can negate that activation, and if you do, destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face up on the field. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster in your graveyard except Fire King Avatar Arvada. Special summon it, but negate its effects. Also destroy it during the end phase. You can only use each effect of Fire King Avatar Arvada once per turn. Arvada added much needed utility, helping Fire Kings disrupt the opponent while continuing their cycle of destruction. However, the archetype still struggled to keep up with the meta, especially with the new linked decks that were being introduced, leaving it as a fun rogue strategy rather than like the top tables that it used to play at. It really was the equivalent of trying to season your Thanksgiving turkey on Christmas. The time's already passed. It looked like it was completely over for Fire Kings until it got a new structure deck in 2013. And with some help with Rescue Ace and Snake Eyes, it took over the meta completely. With a new boss monster, continuous spell, and some chicken nuggies, the deck was revitalized and was burning down the meta. The new boss monster, Garunix Eternity, was truly something to be feared, and it could wipe out your opponent's board in a blink of an eye. Garunix Eternity reads, if this card is Xyz summon, you can destroy all other monsters on the field. You can detach one material from this card, then target one spell or trap on the field, destroy it, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack points. If this card is destroyed while it has material, you can special summon Fire King monsters from your graveyard up to the number of material this card had. You can only use each effect of Garunix Eternity once per turn.
As millions around the world watched in fascinated horror as the images were captured live on TV.
Now you might be saying that this ability really isn't that good going first because the destruction effect is on summon. But that's where the continuous spell comes into play. Fire King Sanctuary not only allows you to place the field spell, but also allows you to Xyz summon on your opponent's turn if they special summon, which means this allows you to completely destroy your opponent's board at almost any point. Fire King Snake Eyes dominated the meta, with only pure Snake Eyes decks being a real threat. That is until, unsurprisingly, Snake Eyes got hit with multiple ban lists because, well, we're kinda in a tier 0 format. And with Snake Eyes being gone, Fire Kings no longer had an archetype to latch itself onto, meaning that Fire Kings was back to square one, being too one-dimensional to hold their own. So how good was Fire Kings actually? Well, they were really good when they were paired up with other archetypes that could cover up some of their flaws. But by themselves, they didn't do enough different things to be able to survive in the meta. Now, the future for Fire Kings also does not look that great, despite it just winning a YCS. Fire Kings most likely won't get any new support in the near future, and the YCS they just won had more to do with the person's skill than the meta shifting towards Fire Kings. But that's all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my new sponsor, Hollow Games. They have all you need to compete at the highest level of Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you're into other card games like Pokemon and Magic, they have you covered too. So don't forget to check out my friends at Hollow Games, link down below. This has been the Shadow Realm Network, and I'll see you guys next time.